I am Bethany Ashcroft.
I am Gabriel Ureta, and this is
Sounds like infrastructure.
Did you see that?
See what?
Look, over there. That orange shimmer in the tree. There is another one.
Ah, those are monarch butterflies.
What kind of butterflies?
Monarch. They're found all over this road, and they're crucial to preserving the local biodiversity.
I've never even heard of them.
They play a very important role. They help to aerate and fertilise the soil, keep unwanted insects and plants under control, and, of course, pollinate flowers. They keep life going, but they're an endangered species.
Nature is amazing. So, what can we do to protect this endangered species?
We all need to do our bit, no matter how small. Roads are an important part of urban development and society, but it doesn't end there. We need to find ways to adapt to the local habitats and ecosystems we're building in.
But how?
The 407 ETR highway passes through Toronto in Canada with a vast network of junctions and access points for vehicles entering and exiting the city. In fact, it's located in one of Canada's most densely populated areas and one of the busiest in the whole of North America. That's why the 407 ETR, developed and operated by Ferrovial, was built here. It is impressive. You can feel it in the length and breadth of the road.
Christina Basil is Vice President Communications and Government Relations at the 407 ETR.
407 ETR is a 108-kilometer highway, and we pass through urban areas and rural areas, and we've got a lot of wildlife that surrounds the highway corridor. So when we look at what our impact is on the environment as a business, I mean, it's really important to take a look around and to see what's around you. And knowing that we do have biodiversity that surrounds the highway corridor, we think it's really important to be thinking about how to minimize our impact on the surrounding environments.
In terms of biodiversity, one of the most critical species living alongside the 407 ETR is the monarch butterfly. Victoria Woodhouse is the Habitat Programme Manager for the Rights of Way project at the Canadian Wildlife Federation.
We're really trying to encourage all native species, to enhance all native species, but specifically for the monarch butterfly, we want to enhance the pollinators. We need pollinators for everything in life, and their populations are on a steady decline, so we're really trying to increase their populations.
And how does the presence of such a major highway impact the survival of an animal species? Tracy Atwell is a restoration ecologist at the Canadian Wildlife Federation.
We've learned that insects evolve based on native plants in the region. So for example, the monarch butterfly can only lay its eggs on milkweed plants. And so if they don't have milkweed plants, then their larvae, their eggs, when they hatch, they don't have food to eat. So if there's no milkweed plants around, then obviously the monarch butterfly population cannot survive. And we know with a lot of habitat loss that's happening throughout, Ontario and Canada as a whole, as we get more developed and land is more developed, it's so critical that we think more about the use of land. So for example, beside a roadway, we often don't think about that. You're in the car, you're walking by, you're not really thinking too much about the land. But when you add all of those little pieces of hectares up, it ends up being quite a significant amount of habitat that we could be using and ensuring is available for insects who rely on native Ontario species to survive.
This project seeks to transform the 407 ETR into a highway with a sustainable landscape, supporting local biodiversity and promoting the importance of preserving native species, such as the monarch butterfly. Our goal is to give local species the protection they need to survive and thrive. There's a long road ahead, but we're laying the foundations upon which we can build a brighter future for the butterflies and other species.
So I think with roadside restoration, it's a multi-year approach before you actually see results. So it's not something that is going to come and happen overnight. So I think right now we're not yet at a phase where we can get we can see a ton of results just yet. We're still at the beginning. There's a lot of work to do, but I will say that what the feedback that we've heard from surrounding municipalities and people has largely been very positive. We received one email from a woman who was very excited to see that we were supporting Canadian Wildlife Federation in this way, and she had sent photos of us, photos of monarch butterflies that she had taken. She's converted her own backyard into an entire native flower garden. So I think that there is a community of people who are really happy to see that we're taking a stand and trying to do better.
Although it may seem insignificant at first glance, these insects play a fundamental role in the healthy development of wildlife and natural habitats. This is happening right now all over the world and involves countless species. For example, people seem to be more aware of the importance of bees, perhaps because they're more familiar, or it's easier to explain what they do. Meanwhile, the important role of monarch butterflies is largely overlooked.
The monarch butterfly is an awe-inspiring, amazing creature that we've only started to discover about this migration back in the 70s. We are only starting to discover all the different intricacies of where they go, why they go. So there's a lot more to learn about this butterfly. And at this point, the best we can do is provide these habitat spaces, these habitat meadows to support them. And everyone loves to see a monarch.
It's not, there's a reason, there's a connection with humanity that is vital that we ensure the survival of pollinators. So monarch butterflies are kind of the face of this issue, but it's really it's so many pollinators will benefit from this, not just the monarch butterfly, but making sure that there's again those native species, native wildflowers that the insects in Ontario have been accustomed to, that they rely on for their reproduction, and that ensures that we've got a steady supply of food and plants and crops that allow humans to thrive. It's all an interconnected web.
The Canadian Wildlife Federation is an association dedicated to wildlife conservation. In the context of the 407 project and monarch butterflies, it strives to preserve that biodiversity in the area while preventing the extinction of this species.
This seems to be a challenge that impacts everyone, animals and humans, and it won't be easy.
So it's about education, it's about coming together and key learnings and how to make sure that we're taking care of the land in ways that obviously are work for municipalities who are trying to carry out this work, and coming together as a group of like-minded people and organizations trying to make a difference. So municipalities can get involved when we're ready. The Canadian Wildlife Federation will put out a call for proposals, and people can put up their hand if they want to get involved.
We get about 10% of the North American population spending part of their summer here. The population is thought to be declining significantly, and lots of government agencies are looking at whether it might need to be listed as a threatened species. And so for our part, it's really important that we're providing this meadow habitat to support monarchs. So that includes the milkweed species, which they need to raise the caterpillars on, which is the host plant. They can't raise their butterflies if they don't have access to milkweeds. And also important is the nectar and pollen resources of the flowers that will flower in these types of meadows over the season. So by providing this habitat for the monarch, there is also resources for other small pollinators, small mammals, and birds. So it's a win-win for the environment in general.
I can see that to make a change, we need all the stakeholders to get involved. but I'm not sure how a highway can help to achieve this.
Well, a good first step is to consider the type of vegetation to replant alongside highways. This depends to a large extent on the actions of each community. Roadsides can be replanted with a mix of native seeds that will add value and provide the space that native species need to thrive, rather than opting for standard grass. This process is known as active restoration. According to data from the Canadian Wildlife Federation, if we continue to replant in this way, we will see a habitat with a diverse mix of native grasses and between 20 and 25 species of wildflowers growing naturally in just 3 years.
So we will be forming a community of practice with municipalities that are adjacent to the 407 ETR. So we will be forming partnerships with staff within the municipalities that may include roadside and operations staff. They may include city councillors and mayors. And we'll be working with them to provide training and resources to learn how to restore habitat on their roadsides in support of Monarch. So we will be providing resources such as how to do active and passive restoration. We'll be doing webinars. We'll be hosting meetings for rights-of-way managers to learn from one another. And then we will be taking what they have learned and putting it into practice to do the actual restoration on the roadsides. So this could include, ensuring that they have materials to do press releases, announcements in traditional media. Posting signage to show restoration in progress is also very important. When we're doing habitat restoration, it doesn't turn into the full beautiful wildflower meadows that we envision in our mind right away. It's a process.
It is entirely up to us to restore 30% of the world's ecosystems by 2030, a major global biodiversity target set at the 2022 UN Biodiversity Conference. Infrastructure fosters development and improves people's lives. However, constructing this infrastructure also implies taking responsibility. This means doing our part by applying our knowledge and channeling resources for a better world and a healthier planet.
Therefore, as a company, it is critical to align our sustainability and business strategies in every single project. Only in this way can we pursue our economic targets while remaining focused on the social and environmental benefits of our work for the community and the planet.
We definitely think that this project has great benefits in terms of sustainability. These meadow projects, they help store carbon in the ground, they reduce drought effects, they help store rainfall and runoff, and they reduce the off-put of temperature from roads and urban development. So there is a lot of aspects to these projects that have great sustainability benefits.
In addition, it also helps us to contribute to both national and global goals.
Sounds of Infrastructure is a collaboration between Ferrovial and Yes We Cast. Our team includes Francisco Izuzquiza, Alberto Espinosa, Sergio F. Núñez, Luciano Branca, Bethany Ashcroft, and myself, Gabriel Ureta.
Want to discover more stories? Listen to our other Sounds Like Infrastructure episodes, or check out our blog. I am Bethany Ashcroft.
I am Gabriel Ureta, and this is
Sounds Like Infrastructure.